Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Wes, good to see you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for being here.
I mean, it's interesting because you filmed the show, it's work, but it's about a vacation. Did it feel basically like vacation mode a lot of times? Because it's just, I can't even imagine just like the scenery being there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's so beautiful. And the work is, it's a lot and it's tough, and definitely felt like to have your weekends like in that environment and have the ocean there. It was a dream.
This is a very difficult character to play because this is a character where everything like the mystery, but all the emotions from all these different characters kind of stem from what happens with your character on this vacation. What is that kind of mindset preparation, knowing that although, yes, you might not have a lot of those kind of intense scenes, but your character is like really involved with a lot of people's lives changing throughout this series?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the challenge for me, kind of in that same way, was just knowing that I had these 8 days, and that's all you get of Allison. And these other characters, you're seeing the ways in which her death has this effect on them, and you're seeing the grief, and you're seeing post-death, but Allison obviously doesn't. So for me, it was the challenge of the character was making her as human and as clear, her identity as clear as I could, because it's just, it's so that was challenging for me. How do I make her, how do I do her justice? How do I show who she is? Because after she dies, her identity is at the mercy of everyone else's opinions and theories and suspicions. So that was kind of the most challenging part for me.
And we're going back kind of 20 years, so it's not like a super big flashback, like you're going back like 150 years, you know what I mean? But there is going to be a good amount of changes and everything. What was that mindset like that you were part of a flashback specifically? I'm curious about that.
Do you mean in terms of the time period, or just
the time period, or just in general? I mean, it's just interesting because it's like you're basically a big part of the storyline, like we said, but it's like in the past, right? So even over 20 years, people are gonna kind of say certain there are differences. I feel like 20 years doesn't feel like a lot, but it is.
Yeah, totally. And I think also in terms of sort of her desire to be, knowledgeable and woke, which is what we say today, but that wasn't a thing 20 years ago, and there are many ways in which she's so clueless and ignorant and naive, but she is trying, and she's trying to do better, and she's trying to learn, and she's curious, and she's asking questions. And I think I think we forget that that's maybe a bigger deal 20 years ago than it is right now.
Absolutely. In terms of being a storyteller, I mean, it's been part of your life for a while, you're not a stranger to kind of that environment and like everything. What's your favorite thing about being a storyteller, would you say, Wes? Like, do you have one thing you like the most about it specifically?
I love making up these characters because you have your template, and we had the book, but beyond that, the challenge is making them human, creating this like 360-degree person. And there's so much creativity involved in that, and like imagination. And to a certain extent, you could just make up anything. Like I could make Allison's favorite color pink or blue or green. You can just like, you have fun with it. And I'd always like daydream and just think of facts and memories, which helps my performance, I think. So I think just the room to play is what I love.
You did such an amazing job in St. X. I can't wait for everyone to see it. You did such an amazing job, premiering April 26th on Hulu. Wes, so great chatting with you. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, bye.
Josh, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for being here, man.
What's up, Peter? How are you?
I am doing good. This show was amazing. You do such an amazing job. I love this character, Clive Gogo. This is a great character. You did such an amazing job. doesn't say much. You know what I mean? Like a man of few words.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I feel like with that said, you do such an amazing job with his performance with the facial expressions where saying nothing, but you're saying a lot by saying nothing. Was that difficult to kind of do to translate from the script to the screen specifically?
Well, first of all, thank you, man. I really appreciate you saying that. It was really about just kind of finding the connections that me and this character had, and then kind of figuring out what was similar, what was different, and then working kind of from the inside out. So I wouldn't say it was difficult per se. It was more, it was challenging, but that's just part of the job,
Absolutely. The, murder mystery kind of whodunit psychological thriller, they've always been around, but I feel like just from a viewer perspective, like the appetite for this content is so grand right now. Like people love this stuff. What's it like working in the genre that's been around for a while, but working at a time in the genre where the appetite is so big and people are just eating up all this content?
It's kind of crazy because being in it, you kind of get desensitized to the mystery a little bit. And a show like this that's so different because it kind of upends the genre and kind of turns the mirror back on the audience a little bit. It's been really, really fun and really it's kind of fun to play around with that and see and get people's reactions when they finish the series.
Is it an exciting kind of and a little bit kind of overwhelming feeling taking unbelievable source material like the novel and then kind of putting it kind of on screen? Because at the end of the day, I always find it interesting because yes, this is like based on the amazing book, but this is Say Next, the TV series on Hulu. So there's going to be difference. There's always it's its own beast. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like, what is that kind of like for you as an actor diving into like an adapted kind of show like this? Like, do you think about kind of giving it justice? Like, do you focus a lot on the source material? Like, I'm curious about that.
Well, I think the source material was a great resource to sort of, research and kind of pull inspiration from. Yep. But really the script and the writing and the writers were so clear and it's very specific and they are different. And so I kind of just like allowed myself to, use what I could from the book, whatever I wanted, but really kind of cannonballing into the script, into this TV show that we were making.
Absolutely. So many storylines, but you care about all of them. And so many kind of things happen and pop up. Right. It's funny how a show like this, episode to episode, things happen. Scene to scene, things happen. And you learn so much about these characters. Did you notice that in the script for that as well? The arcs change between scenes.
I was just talking to Alycia because I was like, man, in the pilot, when I first read it, every page something different was happening, and it was so much fun because you just never know when the world kind of opens up in that way, anything could happen, and so all the possibilities were definitely a fun playground to play in.
Totally. St. X is premiering April 26th on Hulu. I can't wait for everyone to see it. Josh, thanks so much for your time. It was so great chatting with you, man.
Are you kidding me, man? It was so nice to meet you. I can't wait to do this again.
Oh, anytime, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.